Okay, so for this project, we're going elementary school. I'm using some of these plastic rubbing plates you can get from the Dollar Tree, and it comes with 3 different designs in them, and I got the leaf pack. You're also going to need 2 canvases from Crafter Square, and it's just the 6x8 canvas. You don't need the really big ones for this, and some metallic crayons you can get in an 8-pack. So what you're first going to do is you're going to remove the canvas and the staples from the frame. And once we have that done, we'll move on to the next step. We have all of our canvas removed. We're going to paint it with my favorite color wash tint. And it's called Coffee Roast. You guys, I love this stuff. If you've been watching my channel long enough, you know I love this. All you do is you just need 1 coat. You don't have to wipe it off. You just want to make sure you shake it up really good to get all the sparkles. And you can see when you go over natural wood with this, it just gives us a real like deep dark color. I just love it, and it adds a little bit of shine to it. We're going to paint all the sides front and back with this. While our canvas frames are drying, we're going to work on our print for our canvas. So I'm going to take out 2 of the rubbing plates. 3 come in a pack, and you can actually get these rubbing plates in the teacher section of the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to use the oak and maple leaf. And as you can see, they have the raised side and then they have like an indented side. You want to make sure that you use the raised side of the plate when you put your canvas on top of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place my canvas on top, and to hold the canvas in place, I'm going to use some painter's tape, and I'm just going to tape the canvas down to the plate and to the table so that it doesn't move when we are coloring over the plate. So for the maple leaf, I'm going to use this like burnt orange that was in that Crayola pack. And we're just going to start out by lightly rubbing over the canvas. And while doing this, you can see where parts of the leaf is going to start popping through the canvas. And I'm going to rub a little harder over some of the edges and the sides to kind of get that pronounced leaf outline, I guess you could say. And you want to make sure you color the entire canvas with the crayon. And this is going to give it kind of like a watercolor look. And you're going to do this a couple times. You want to keep rubbing over the leaf. And you want to do it as many times as you want until you get the darkness or the shade that you want. And then on the outside of the leaf where there's no raised parts, I'm just going to gently go over the entire canvas with my crayon. We have our canvas colored. We're going to take our frame and we're just going to glue the canvas down to the frame. And I'm just going to center it the best I can over the leaf. And once I do that, I'm just going to flip it over and we're going to apply hot glue all around the frame and the canvas. Once I have the canvas glued onto the frame, I'm just going to cut off all the excess canvas, and then we're going to go ahead and do the next canvas the exact same way. And only the next one, I'm going to use the brown crayon, and we're just going to go over it the same way we did this one. So once we have both of our leaves colored onto our canvas, this is what we should have. And we're going to move on to the next step. You can see here, you can still see the staples that were in there from the canvas being attached to the frame. And so I'm just going to cover that up so it doesn't look so silvery on my frame by just using some of this paint. It's just a brown paint. You could use any brown paint that would match. And it's just going to kind of help hide those staples. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to glue some jute cord or jute twine around this frame, and we're going to go completely around it. And once we have that glued down, we're going to work on our second frame because it's going to be done a little different.
Summer is ended, the leaves are turning brown.
have all the jute twine glued onto that frame, I'm just kind of lining them up to figure out where I needed to add the other jute twine on this frame. And as you can see, I'm going to leave the left side of the frame without any jute cord, and I'm just going to glue the 3 sides of this. So that way it's not big and bulky there in the corner with the jute cord, and we can glue it in the V shape that I want to glue it in.
Red and yellow, soon they'll be falling.
So if you noticed, I also lifted up the jute twine on this one just so that I can glue it onto the other frame without the jute twine being in the way and being big and bulky. So I just glued that one side where there's no jute twine, and I glued it onto this other frame, as you can see here. I turned it around so that you could see what I'm doing. I mean, it's just like in a V shape. And once we have that glued together, then I'm going to go back to the front of it, and I'm going to glue that jute twine back down where I lifted up the edge.
Now, I'm not ready, not just yet. I'm not ready.
And now I'm just going to take a lighter and I'm going to burn off all the little nasties that come on this jute. We all know it looks frizzy and hairy, and I'm just going to burn all of those off. Be careful doing this. Don't burn yourself or the house down. Okay, so now I'm just going to take that same jute cord and I'm going to make me a big bow. Just a typical shoestring bow. And you also notice, which I didn't get on video, that I used one of those little Dollar Tree stems that you can get in a pack. And I put that down into the frame to kind of hide that hot glue mess. And I'm also going to stack some mini pine cones on top of that to just kind of add to this picture frame. And once we have the bow made, we're just going to glue that on, and then we're going to glue some pine cones on, and that's going to make this project complete.
Ready for autumn. Autumn comes too soon. Autumn comes too soon.
Project, you're going to need 2 different size pumpkins. So I'm using one of these wood MDF pumpkins from the Dollar Tree, and this also came from the Dollar Tree. I think I got this last year, but I had this in my stash and I just really like the shape of it. And I'm also going to be using some Waverly chalk paint and white, and we're just going to give this big pumpkin 2 coats of the white chalk paint.
Flickers will blow.
So while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and deconstruct this little pumpkin. And all I'm going to do is just remove the tag, and the front part of the pumpkin actually peels off. Be careful when peeling this off because it has glitter all over it. And I made the mistake of peeling it off right there next to my wet, nicely painted, newly painted pumpkin. And it got glitter all over it. So anyway, the only reason why I did tear off the back, because I painted the back side, but the only reason why I tore off the front side is because I didn't want anybody to be able to see it, and I ended up sanding it down and stuff. But anyways, that's just me. You don't have to do that, but I just did it so it's easier to glue down to the bigger pumpkin. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some of this black paint, and I'm just going to paint both the stems with this black paint.
All that blossomed will.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sponge dauber, and I'm going to start daubing some black round circles onto the pumpkin. And you're going to see here it's going to just, I'm kind of daubing off the extra black paint. Then I realized that it was too light and I wanted it a little bit heavier. So then I just went into the black paint itself without taking off some of the paint off the sponge. So you can see here, I just decided not to wipe off the excess. And I'm just going to go at it, and that's the look that I want. So you're just going to take your dauber and daub on however many circles you want onto your pumpkin. Try not to fill the entire pumpkin up though, because I'm also going to be using another color. So I'm going to have 2 different color polka dots on this pumpkin. Once I have all my black polka dots on the pumpkin, I'm going to take this Caribbean blue and I'm going to add more polka dots using the Caribbean blue.
I'm not ready, not just yet. I'm not ready for autumn. Autumn comes too soon. I'm not ready.
I did go over those polka dots twice to just kind of fill them in better. But now I'm going to take some of the scrapbook paper that I got from Hobby Lobby, of course, and I'm just going to glue that onto the front. This is the side of the pumpkin where I said it had all the glitter, and I peeled off the, like, it was, I don't know, it was some kind of weird, funky paper that was on the front of it. And I ended up painting the back, because again, like, I like the back of my projects finished. And I just thought it'd be easier to cover the front up with all this glitter using some tacky glue. And I'm just going to put the scrapbook paper on the front. And then once that's dry, we're just going to trim down the edges to form to the pumpkin better.
Autumn comes too soon. Autumn comes too soon. Autumn comes too soon.
Once our pumpkins are finished drying, we're just going to glue the smaller pumpkin onto the larger pumpkin. And then once I have that done, I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to use some tower tumbling blocks so that we can stand this pumpkin up. Now, when this project is finished, I did go on the back and painted the back side because, again, you know, you're probably going to be able to see the back side where I'm going to have it at, and I just wanted it finished. So for this project, I'm using a 5x7 picture frame. I also printed out this Hello Fall on my Cricut in like a golden vinyl. And I'm also using the scrapbook paper that I got from Hobby Lobby. Now, if you don't have a Cricut, you can always write your words out, or you can use Dollar Tree stickers. I'm not very good at writing, so I just decided to print it out on my Cricut. So what I'm first going to do is just remove the backing from the frame, and I'm going to take all of this out because I'm not going to need all of that other stuff in there. I just need the backing. And I'm also going to remove the glass because we're going to paint the frame. So I'm going to paint the frame with this Victorian red. This is like one of my favorite reds. It's just really pretty for fall. And because it's one of these plastic frames from the Dollar Tree, I had to give it 2 coats. For the frame to dry, I'm going to take the scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby and I'm just going to use regular school glue and glue that onto the picture frame. And then once I have that glued on, we will start adding all the little details. So now we're going to put our decal on our glass part of the frame, and all I'm doing is just wiping off all the dust or whatever could be on the frame, and we are going to transfer the Hello Fall onto the frame. And I just wanted to say this isn't my design. This is something I just got off Design Space because I have no idea how to put anything together or how to do this in Cricut other than print it out onto vinyl. I'm still really new to Cricut and I'm still learning how to use it. So yeah, I just got this. This is somebody else's design off Cricut Design Space. And I just searched for Hello Fall. So as you can see here, it's kind of hard to transfer this I don't know why this vinyl didn't want to stick to the glass very well, but I had a really hard time. Finally got it to stick. I just had to go at it slow. You can see how pretty that color vinyl looks on this glass. I just loved how this turned out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these fall leaves and I'm just going to cut some of the stems off. I don't know where I got these. This was just some kind of a fall plant of something, I'm sure. But it's been in my stash for a while. So I'm just taking some of these like discolored green and some of these yellow leaves. And I'm just going to put those just sloppy in there. I'm not even going to glue them down. There's no need to glue these down. They'll stay put. And then I'm going to put the glass on top of it and put it back into the frame. For this project, you're going to need one of these Harvest Wishes signs that you can get from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to start out by removing the jute twine hanger, but I'm going to set that to the side because we'll be needing it later. And the paints I'll be using is this King's Gold, and I'm also going to be using my Victorian Red, and we're going to be using some Pumpkin Orange. So I'm going to start out by using the King's Gold, and I'm going to paint the Harvest in the King's Gold. Now you can see how pretty this King's Gold is on this. I just love this color yellow for fall. It just reminds me of, like, I don't know, just reminds me of fall, I guess. And then once I have the Harvest painted in the King's Gold, I'm going to go and paint the Wishes in my Victorian Red. Okay, I'm really loving how this is turning out. I'm really loving the gold and the red together. So now I'm going to take some pumpkin orange and I'm going to paint the leaf in this pumpkin orange. And I'm telling you what, these colors really look good on this wood. I don't know. I'm just loving the way this is turning out. Let me know in the comments below if you like these colors together. Now, once all of our paint's dry, I'm taking some black paint and I'm just going to outline the veins of the leaves. And this is the only thing I'm going to outline in the black paint. Now, once this is dry, we're going to sand all this down to kind of blend it in and make it look faded. So right now the black paint may look kind of dark on the leaf, but once we sand the leaf down, it's going to look a lot better. So you can see here what the leaf looks like after I sanded it down and brought out some of that wood and toned down that black a little bit, but still popped the veins of the leaves out. So now you're going to take a bamboo wreath form, and I'm not going to do any gluing to this. You're not going to need any hot glue or anything. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of straighten it out because, you know, bamboo wreath forms aren't exactly circular. And we're going to take that jute twine cord that we took off our Harvest Wishes sign. Let's say that again. The Harvest Wishes sign. And we're going to stick that back in there. And we are just going to drape that over the bamboo wreath. Again, no hot glue needed for this. So now I'm just going to take some fall florals that I had in my stash and I'm going to remove them off the stems and I'm just going to start intertwining them on my bamboo wreath form. Like I said, you're not going to need any hot glue if you do this right because they literally will just fit into the wreath form. All you have to do is a little twisting and manipulating, and once we have that done, this project's complete. Give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this project, because it really helps my channel grow, and I appreciate it, guys. Okay, for this project, you're going to need one of these planners. You can get these during the spring or summertime at the Dollar Tree. And I'm also going to be mixing some antique white and some pavement gray together to kind of get a grayish color. And once I have those mixed up, I'm going to give the planter 2 coats of this paint. You can see what the pretty grayish color it kind of gives this tin, and I didn't worry about like painting over the letters or anything on the tin, because we're actually going to cover those up with a printable. I actually used my Cricut to print this out with my Cricut pen, and then when I printed it out, I also went in and colored it with some colored markers that I had, and I actually got this off Cricut Design Space. And like I said, I just used my Cricut pen, printed it out, and then I colored it in. You can use any kind of design you want on this, and I just printed it out on some cardstock, and I'm just going to glue that on the front here. Now I'm just going to take one of these fake sunflowers and I'm going to glue it to the right side of my tin. In order to get this sunflower to lay flat, I ended up having to take it apart. So I had to take the back of it off to be able to glue it down, and then I had to glue the flower, like the middle part of it, back down to the flower, as you can see here. It's best to take that plastic piece off so that it's going to lay flat when you glue it. After I have that glued down, I'm just going to take some of these like fall leaves. Again, I don't know where these came from, but I just like it because they just have just enough green on them. And I'm just going to glue that down behind the sunflower. Okay, so ladies, it's time to get out all those Dollar Tree sacks that we've been hiding from our husbands, and we're going to put them to some use here. And we're just going to tuck these in the bottom of this tin. And you're just going to fill it up to the height that you want it. So I'm actually stashing a lot of my bags in here. Never going to know. And once I have that stuffed full, I'm going to take this little welcome sign. It's kind of made out of cardboard and some foam. And I'm just going to cut the tag off. And I'm going to put it in the back here inside the tin. Take this hula skirt because I need some raffia and I don't have any, and there's all kinds of raffia on this thing, and I'm just going to cut me off a big bundle, and once I have that cut off, I'm just going to cover up all these bags so that you can't see them. Now I'm just going to take some pumpkins I had in my stash, and I'm just going to start filling this in and turning it into a really cute fall centerpiece. Okay guys, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed these DIYs, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of all of my upcoming videos. And hit that like button because it really helps YouTube notice me just a little bit more. And I just want to say thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye.